Hey there guys, welcome back to Chelsea Explain as this is your match review after we're making an absolute insane comeback. An even greater one than we did in the week against Napoli in Champions League because this time we are 2 goals to down at half time, having one of the worst, if not the worst, half of the season, and I could never see this comeback coming. We're turning the game around, winning 3 goals to 2 with the Enzo Fernandez winner at stoppage time. And yeah, the game then ends in complete chaos. Todibo receives a red card. To be honest, I think even Mavropanos, their centre back, should also have received a red card after slapping Palmer in the face. They're going absolutely mad. I mean, I can understand they're getting frustrated, leading 2-0, and then you totally capitulating. This is the lineup we started with, and I think it's quite questionable because I've seen a lot of people now starting to wonder who is actually picking the lineups. That sometimes it's honestly feel, and I believe that because there were coming out briefs from and leaks from previous managers, they sort of hinted that the ones above interfered with the lineup. And that could be the case. I could honestly believe that even more today because, I mean, you can't make that too many changes in Premier League. It's too deadly. I mean, you're seeing all the other top teams using almost the same 11 every game. I think we should do that as well. Of course, it's okay to rotate maybe 1, 2, 3 players, but there was too many changes, and the lineup we put up and how we utilized that lineup in game, I mean, it didn't really make sense. I advocated for us to bring in Hato and Gusto because I think James and Cucurella needed a bit of rest, and then we can bring them on later. But what Liam Rossini did was he utilized Hato in a pivot as an inverted fullback in the pivot, and he has never been utilized there before so far on the Chelsea. And no wonder he looked so awkward and had a poor first half. And I thought we were gonna have Gusto bombing up the right hand side and overlap, but no, he was one of the centre backs in this makeshift back three instead and constantly misplaced passes. So I think we utilized them quite wrong. Then there were some other changes. We saw Garnacho coming in. I wanted that myself because I thought Neto needed maybe a little bit of rest because he has been poor. Garnacho had a shocking game. Misplacing passes, even easy passes. Couldn't beat his fullback to save his life. Yeah, didn't have a great half whatsoever. Felt like he was playing too much in his head. But at the same time, our wingers are often isolated and don't get the help. And most of the times, the only thing they can do is literally just go backwards or cut inside a little bit and see if a teammate is opening space. Otherwise, there aren't much they can do. They don't get a natural combination with players close to them. Gittan started as well because apparently Estevao wasn't in the squad. He had to travel to Brazil for some reasons. But then maybe you could have played Neto instead and not make too many changes. But he came in the 25th minute because Gittens felt some discomfort in his hamstring, I believe, and was taken out. Um, we also saw Palmer coming in, which is understandable. We had Fernandes and Caicedo, of course, but then we also brought in the Lap, so another change. And the Lap was alright, but I think he's pretty weak, and we don't use his abilities as much as we can when we're facing these compact, deep defenses because he was also isolated, much like the wingers, and this is a common theme we're seeing under Rosenior and what we saw under Maresca. And I thought we were gonna have João Pedro instead starting, who is in absolute stunning form, hot red form. delivering with goals, assists, and his performances overall in all aspects is brilliant. I mean, why couldn't we start with him and then take him off and then maybe bring on Delap if we're leading in the second half? But we didn't do that, and our attack was non-existent. I don't even think we created one dangerous chance in that first half. It was just West Ham creating dangerous chances, and they could have honestly killed the game in that first half, and it would have almost been impossible for us to make a comeback. So this lineup for me is very questionable, and I really wonder, was it Liam Rosenior who picked this lineup, or was it someone else above? I mean, I have a hunch it could be that way. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the first half, the first goal is coming from Bowen. He's sort of cutting inside, gonna make a cross. I think their forward misses the header, and Sanchez is getting tricked, and he doesn't have the time to catch the ball going into the net. So that was quite unfortunate. You could argue he could be to blame for that, but it was such a weird moment, a rare moment that barely ever happens. So I let it slide. And the second goal comes from a blistering swift counterattack from West Ham, where Bowen, Wan-Bissaka combines. Wan-Bissaka make a cutback pass across the box. No one picks up Somerville, and he makes a first-time finish in the side of the net. And West Ham leading 2-0 into half-time. And I'm thinking, you know, this is crazy. Like, what are we going to do? Can we turn this around? And I have to massively praise Rosenior here once again, because he's doing something that Maresca never did, which was being proactive and making changes immediately, not waiting. And he has done that ever since he took over in the beginning of January, and it actually pays off again. He literally threw in the kitchen sink. He makes life much more simpler for the players, and he's deploying a normal 4-2-3-1 where fullbacks for once actually can bomb up and down and help the winger with over underlapping runs and attacking the box. Because if we're just gonna continue this sideways passing and a positional play and just wait for the opponent to press and then play through them and wait for that perfect moment that rarely comes, that's not gonna work. You know, the opponents and managers in this league is adapting to the way the top teams are playing, and they're coming up with ideas how they're gonna stop these positional play systems, and they do that. West Ham were fantastic in the first half, but when you're having fullbacks bombing up and down, not only are you overloading the central areas of the pitch, you're also overloading the flanks, and it means we can push our player further. We're getting better control, and we're having more players attacking the box and can attack on crosses, cutback passes, on rebounds, and then life becomes easier to actually turn the game around. And we managed to do that, and I hope we can continue to see more of this. And when you're also pushing so many players further, it actually becomes easier to counter press as well, because you are closer to the ball when you're losing it. And we're starting to turn the game around. We brought in Fofana, we brought in Cucurella, as well as João Pedro to begin with. And then later on, we also brought in James with 10 minutes go. And the comeback started with Fofana pushing forward, making an accurate cross on the far post where João Pedro attacks and heads it in. João Pedro just absolutely insane at everything. I mean, he can score with his hand, with both his feet, as a continuously stressing, and he's also providing later with an assist to was it Enzo Fernandez late in the game who made that winning goal. And between that, we also scored a second goal which I believe was a cross from Neto to the Lapp, who then headed into the bar, and then Cucurella took advantage of the rebound and headed it home himself. More Cucurella stepping up, João Pedro stepping up, Fernandes as well, and yeah, it's an absolute insane comeback. And much credit to the players and manager for continuing to going and not giving up. And this just continue to boost the spirit, team cohesion throughout the team. The moral continues to be boosted, and we need this ahead of Arsenal on Tuesday to hopefully have any small percentage of turning the leg around and going through to the Carabao Cup final. So I want to continue seeing this from Leroy Senior. We have a solution now, a system we can turn to if we have to throw in the kitchen sink and turn a game around. And maybe he has to rethink a bit on his positional play, because teams know how to counter it now, and we have too many players dropping down. We need more players supporting the striker and being close to him and helping the flanks as well. We see what's gonna happen, if that's something he's gonna do in the coming games. I mean, if teams is sitting back and not really pressing you aggressively, it's gonna be tricky then, because you're sort of waiting for the opponents to press and then play through them. But if that doesn't happen, you just continue to passing sideways and just turning to the flanks, and then the wingers can only either cross into the box and hope, or has to go back to the defenders and start it all over again. In terms of player performances, my man of the match, and as you can see on SofaScore as well, is Enzo Fernandez. I think he was spot on for most part of the game. There's sometimes he's quite awkward when he loses possession at times and when he's gonna defend, but when we moved him to deeper position, he's just immensely good at dictating the tempo, switching the ball to the other side of the flank, playing with such great tempo and accuracy. See the games in just 4K like few player does in this league. And yeah, he was coming with a winning goal as well, and absolutely deserved man of the match. And second man of the match, as you can see here as well, and for me, is João Pedro, contributing with more points, and João Pedro hitting stunning form under Liam Senior, and this can just continue, and he's gonna become a top Premier League player. And of course, Cucurella, great as well. Sanchez stepped up with very important saves. I thought Fofana was good when he came in. We had some other players that were decent in Chalobah. We also had, I mean, the Lapp was alright in the second half. Cole Palmer maybe didn't have his best day, but we know he's not in form and has some discomfort he's playing with. But there was some plays that weren't great, of course, in Garnacho, Chile, Gusto. Hato didn't have a great game, but he was playing in a new role. He hasn't done much earlier. And yeah, let me know, guys, who your man of the match was, and do you think Liam Rosenior should continue this positional play, or do you think he should simplify things and turn into a more attacking, natural version of the 4-3-1, where the fullbacks is bombing up and down? Let me know that, and I will happily read that in the comments down below. And I see you for the next video, and Chelsea Explains out.